Hello students, welcome to this Frames 5 video tutorial on the butterfly. Please open Frames 5 from your application screen. Okay, let's do an initial save. From the pull down menu at the top, go to File and find Save As. At the top of the Save As screen, in the Look In window, click the down arrow and look for your student number drive. Make sure you choose the second time that you see your student number, and your student number will be beside a little gray box like this. Okay, so click on your student number, and then down here under file name, I want you to type in butterfly, butterfly, and hit save. Okay, we're ready to begin. So you'll notice at the top that there are a few tools at the top. In Frames 4, there used to be a lot more tools on the top toolbar. And then we have a side panel on the right here. Okay, so we're going to be using all of these tools and the side panel. Okay, so the title of this animation is called the butterfly. So let's look for the main character in our animation, a butterfly. So in the top right hand corner, let's click on the library panel. There are two panels, the tools panel and the library panel. So let's click on the library panel. You'll see a lot of different folders here. I want you to double click on clip art. Then I want you to double click on the folder called animals. Then I want you to double click on the folder called insects. Okay, it might take a while to load all of the insects. So we need to look for the specific character of the butterfly. So we're going to use this butterfly. There's only two choices, this one and this one. And I find that this one will work better because it's a side view. All right, let's click on that butterfly. And there are two ways to bring this character into our frame. You can click, hold, and drag it over like that. Or while it's selected in the right panel, in the library panel, you can just click on this green arrow here. So those are the two ways to bring over a clip art. Okay, I want you to resize the clip art. So let's grab one of the corner kind of squares and let's just pull it, drag it inwards. We don't want to make it too small and we don't want to have it too big as well. So why don't we leave it right about there? Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to flip it around so that the head is not facing left, but it's facing right. So while the butterfly is selected, let's go up to the Options pull-down menu at the top of your screen, Options. Let's click on it, and then I want you to look for this option called Flip Horizontal. Flip Horizontal. Okay, and then you'll see that it's flipped it so that the head is now pointing to the right. And if you just want to experiment, you can see what flip vertical means. But of course, that's not what we want to do. So whenever you make a mistake or whenever you want to undo something, there is an undo button from the top toolbar in the top right-hand corner of your frame. Okay, so if you click undo, it will undo that last step. So whenever you think you've done something wrong or when you do something that you don't like, just immediately hit undo. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to have this character, this butterfly, fly in from the left edge of your frame and then fly out of the right edge of your frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to click and drag the butterfly and we're going to have it entering the left frame, the left side of the frame. Now you could have it entering from a high position or you can have it entering from a low position. It does not matter. Okay, so let's deselect. All right. So from the top, from the right panel, let's click back on the Tools panel here. Right now it's on the library because remember we went to search for that clip art. But let's click on the Tools panel. All right. Now remember we've deselected. Nothing is selected on our frame. In fact, it's quite an empty frame, isn't it? So from the top toolbar, let's click the duplicate button, the duplicate tool. And what the duplicate tool does is if you have nothing selected on the screen, the duplicate tool duplicates the entire frame. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, this is called the timeline. You'll see that there are two frames now in your animation. The first frame, which we created, and then the second frame, which we duplicate. We made a duplicate copy of the first frame. Okay, I want to introduce you to the onion skin tool. So there's a couple ways to get the onion skin. We can go up to View, and we can check off onion skin here, or there is an onion skin button over here in the right tool panel. Onion skin right there. Okay, so either way will work. And what onion skin does is, what we're going to do now is, we're going to grab the butterfly and we're going to move it slightly forward and either slightly upwards or slightly downwards, depending on what flight path you want this butterfly to take. So what onion skin does is it shows you the position of that object in the previous frame. And this is very important to animators. It's very important to know where that object is in the previous frame so that you can course its path, or you can decide where it's going to go in the next frame, or in the next 5 frames, or the next 20 frames. Okay. So that's about how much I want to move it. I moved it slightly to the right so that it's flying from left to right, and then I want it to either fly upwards or downwards. So if you are near the top of your frame, you should probably have the butterfly fly downwards first, and if you're near the bottom of the frame, you should have the butterfly fly upwards. All right, so let's deselect, click anywhere in the frame so that the butterfly is not selected. Now let's duplicate again. Okay, I'm going to continue that motion. I'm going to move the butterfly slightly to the right, and I'm going to continue slightly downwards or slightly upwards, depending on which direction you were going first. All right, I'm going to deselect, and I'm going to duplicate again. I'm going to do the same thing, slightly forward and slightly downward. All right, we've already created 4 frames. Let's deselect and duplicate. I'm going to do the same thing, slightly forward and slightly downwards. Deselect, duplicate. Slightly forward, slightly downwards. All right, deselect, duplicate. So now at this point, I might decide, okay, the butterfly now is going to change directions and going to move upwards instead of downwards. If you had your butterfly moving upwards, maybe at this point you want it to start moving downwards. Remember, a butterfly, when it's flying, its flight is very erratic. It's not very smooth, and this is done as a precautionary measure so that it is not easily eaten by predators. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now change the direction. Again, I'm going to have it keep moving right, but now I'm going to have the butterfly move upwards. So let's deselect and duplicate. And again, we're going to follow that same path, deselect and duplicate. Now you can see here how quickly you can create a lot of frames. Now the general rule in animation is the more frames you have, the smoother the animation. So we don't mind having a lot of frames. All right, so I'm going to continue. It doesn't matter if you have the same number of frames that I do. If you have a few more, if you have a few less, it doesn't matter. So I've created a few more while I was talking. So now what I want to do is, I actually want to have the butterfly now fly left for a few frames. So let's click on the butterfly. I duplicated the frame. I'm going to click on the butterfly, and we've done this once already. Let's go up to the Options pull-down menu, and let's choose Flip Horizontal. Okay, so now I have the butterfly completely facing the other direction. So let's deselect and duplicate. Now you can decide whether the butterfly is going to fly upwards or downwards. I had it flying upwards, I believe, but now I'm just going to have it go back on the same plane, not upwards or downwards, but back. And then I'm going to deselect and duplicate. And I'm going to have it dip down a bit. Deselect and duplicate. Deselect and duplicate. All right. So I'm going to duplicate again. Now what I want it to do is I want it to flip and turn to the right and continue flying for the rest of the animation to the right. So remember how to do this? Let's click on the butterfly. Let's go up to the options pull down menu and choose flip horizontal. Okay. So let's go up and save. We haven't saved in a while. It's always important to save your work. Don't let it get too long before you hit save. So let's hit save. Okay. So this concludes this Frames 5 video tutorial on the butterfly part 1. Please continue on with the next tutorial without calling Mr. Ueda over. Thanks for watching. Bye.